What's up?
What up?
Nothing, folks. For folks who are slowly coming into the chat, we are live here for another edition of Press Play on this Saturday night. That's Leroy and Michael. We are the We Trying channel, a Nerded by Nature Productions. It's been a minute since we were live, but I felt like we did a pretty good job of giving you content at least once a week.
No, we don't.
I mean, I felt like we did this time between the last time we were live.
Last time we were live, we were supposed to do something once a week.
Did we not do that?
Mm, no, we
Hmm.
haven't been doing something once a week.
Interesting. Fair enough. It is what it is. What's going on with you, man?
Not much. Watching Bad Boys for Life.
Did you see Ride or Die yet?
I told you I saw it Friday.
Did you tell me that?
I told you I was going to go see it Thursday night, so I couldn't see it Thursday. I went to go see it Friday.
But at that time, that was like Thursday, so it hadn't happened yet. I don't know if something might have happened with one of your kids and you couldn't go see it. I don't know.
Let's check the text messages because I swear. On. Was going tonight, but the Celtics playing, so we'll do a matinee. Dave, and then you said Dave. He says a new movie that looks so fucking stupid. I want to see it. And I said people behind it made John Wick. That was at 10:34. And yesterday, Bad Boy's going to win the weekend. When you text that, you had just seen the Dave Batista trailer because you were watching the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So was I.
I don't know that from this.
I told you I was going to go watch it. I knew.
Sir, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you saw it. I guess we
I
will
told
get
you I
to a
was going to go
review.
see it.
Yeah, all right, calm down. You act like stuff don't
Hold
change.
on, no, wait, and hold on. You knew I saw it because I asked you if you wanted to do a review Friday night.
You didn't ask me that.
Yes, I did.
No.
Yes, I
Where that
did.
where that showed me that text you want to do a review. Did you think that and it never came up?
Bad Boy's going to win the weekend. You want to do a review tonight or tomorrow? I would say
Oh, you know
tomorrow,
what?
possible. Boom.
You were correct, but I
Eat
didn't
a
read it that
dick.
way. I didn't read it that way.
Eat
What
a
I read it
dick.
as, yes, you were right. What I read it as, did you want to do a press play tonight? I definitely did not see
Nah.
review and read
Mm-mm.
press play. All right, fair enough.
Read
Great.
like your reporters.
You wish. So what are we talking about? It's the summer. Summer's here.
Summer blockbusters, man.
Hot girl summer's here.
That's old.
I mean, hot girl summer's every summer.
Nah. It was one particular summer.
I don't think it ever goes away. Megan Thee Stallion is always gonna have hot girl summer, and the City
Mm,
Girls.
showing your age, sir. Showing your age. I think that's. I think this is the summer of Not Like Us. You got to catch up, buddy.
I mean, two things can happen in the summer.
Nah. Once it's been established, that's what it is.
That's
I'm,
horrible.
I'm
That's
quite sure.
some
Quite
hard
sure
line
Drake would.
thinking.
I'm quite sure Drake would like for it to be Hot Girl Summer, but that's not what it is.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. Sir, we're talking about the summer. What are we talking about in particular in this summer?
Summer blockbusters. What's going on with the movie theaters? Because
Movie
according to
theaters suck.
Variety, I didn't say that. According to Variety, on May the 5th, box office, The Fall Guy kicks off summer movie season with a disappointing 28 million debut. And there are a couple of articles complaining about summer. Uh, the summer movie season is looking a little bleak.
Did you see Fall Guy in theater, or did you see Fall Guy out yet?
I have not watched it yet.
So
I'm waiting
you're the
for it.
problem. Okay,
I mean,
I saw it in the theaters. I did my part for the summer blockbusters.
I was going to see it in the theater, but I just didn't have a chance to. And it's
Fair
not that
enough.
and it's not that I don't that I didn't want to. I do. I still want to see it. It just haven't. Um, like right now, if you watch it, if you go to rent it for Amazon, that's $20.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have seen. I wouldn't pay $20 in the theater. So there's no way in the world I'm gonna pay $20 at home to watch it. But I do want to see it, and I will rent it when like it's on sale for like $5 or $6
Okay.
or whatever streaming app it comes to, because I do want to see it. Um, but um, I think there is something to it. Denny Villeneuve said that he's very disappointed that Dune is the biggest movie of the year.
Oh, he said that.
Yep.
And when did his movie come out?
Dune 2 earlier this year.
So, I know, but I mean, like, how far away was it from the summertime?
Before summer.
I hate you sometimes. I feel
I
like you're
mean,
good with dates, so I feel like you would have been like, "Oh, it was March, blah blah blah."
I could tell you, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I know.
Basically, Denny is disappointed the movie remains the biggest box office success of 2024 to reporters after he received the Academy Icon Award at the 2024 Canadian Screen Awards.
March 1st.
He'd like to see more films, not just ones directed by him, doing well in theaters. I think we need movies that are theatrical experiences that will fully embrace the power of the theater. And I'm not just talking about Dune 2. Of course, I'm talking about many movies. A movie like Civil War, for instance, is a strong example of a movie that absolutely used the power of the theater. I was lucky that part 2 did reach the audience. I wish it would happen more often, honestly. I'm disappointed to still be number one. I hope soon that there will be other successes at the box office. I hope sooner or later that this summer box office will be better. Um, and that comes on the heels of Furiosa getting off to a slow start. It debuted at number one in the Memorial Day weekend, which is usually the
The unofficial
kickoff of
kickoff
this.
of summer.
Yeah. The lowest number one Memorial Day release since 1995. The 4-day weekend brought in 128 million, far lower than the projected 160 million theaters were expected to make last week. So this is Denny commenting on the movie theater experience needing films that takes advantage of it. And I just thought it was interesting because we talk about the theater experience all the time. We talk about why we go, what films we see. What do you think this drop of films not hitting metrics? What do you think is the cause of that?
I
What is
think
your
it's a few things. I think we are still seeing the repercussions of a COVID era. And even if we don't deal with COVID the same way we did and people are back in theaters, I still think people are hesitant to go back, not even from a safety standpoint, but they just kind of got accustomed to seeing things in their house. So many people have a lot of good home theater setups now. Nice, you can get a nice 65-inch screen somewhere for a nice price.
Mhm.
You can get you a sound system. You can pause a movie at your house, which is nice. Sometimes you like feel like you want to go to the bathroom, and there's just so many comforts at your house now that you aren't going to get at a movie theater. Also, people aren't going to be assholes, hopefully, at your house as they might be in a movie theater. Some people still don't have phone movie theater etiquette, and they like to turn their phone on. You probably are not going to see that at your house, and if it is, it's probably you. I think there are so many creature comforts at your house now that you're like, why would I pay so much money to go see this when I can just wait? Especially, I think Fall Guy might have been in theaters for maybe a week or two, and then it was available to rent very soon after it was in the theater. Um, I think there are just so many ways to see movies now at your house that there's for some people there's no need to go to the theater, which sucks because I think maybe probably in the last live thing that we did or whatever taped, I remember saying I enjoyed seeing Fall Guy in the theater and it was worth it.
Okay.
You, sir?
Um, I I I think you're right in a lot of some of the stuff that you said. I also think one big thing that I I will turn it a little bit to what you said about the COVID stuff. I think COVID did play a part in it, but I think we're seeing the adverse of COVID. Everybody was inside for so long, right? And uh, it's not that I think people are hesitant to get back in the theaters. I think if you tie this with inflation, which is, I think, one of the huge factors, and people not going to the movies as well, the fact that everything has gone up, and with everybody been kept inside for so long, people are traveling more. They're enjoying experiences over going to the theater. because I think the theater was something we took for granted before COVID. You know, just going to go see a movie. I think um, that aspect of it, whether you're going to spend like I just saw Bad Boys Ride or Die. I just got a small thing of popcorn, a medium um, icy, and a movie ticket at a matinee, and I spent $30.
Dang.
That was
Yeah, I
$30.
think I think I spent $12, but it was just a ticket.
And what I'm saying is, and here's the thing: when I went and saw Furiosa, they gave me the senior discount, and I was highly upset. And then I looked at the ticket price, and I was like, "Yeah,
I'll
run
be a
that shit.
senior.
Yeah, I'll be a senior." I was like, that's $10. I'll run.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. But no, like that's $30. It's $30 for one person, and that was a small thing of popcorn. And this is the thing, like I have like points that I could have gotten, like maybe a free thing of popcorn, or um, I th- I think it's a combination of those things, and I
Hmm.
think we're not going to see. I think I think people got, and I don't have any scientific data to back this up, but I think people got really comfortable with the idea of all of these huge blockbusters in the theaters every summer, every year. And a lot of movie studios have scaled back. So there's only one Marvel movie coming out this year.
Hmm.
Um, what's the Fast and Furious movie coming out this year?
There isn't one.
Boom. Mission Impossible didn't do well last year, and so we haven't seen anything from Dead Reckoning 2 or whatever the next thing is. I think people got really comfortable with seeing these huge domestic and worldwide blockbuster numbers and thought that that was just going to keep going. And you said
When
this
you say
before.
people, who are the people? What
I
people?
think
Like
Wall
movie
Street,
studios?
movie studios and Wall Street, because
Okay.
a lot of times these expectations are set by people who are like, oh, we spent this much money, we expected to do. And it's like, why would you expect this movie to do this much? Because you spent $160 million? Is the movie any good?
Hmm.
Are you like, what are the metrics that you're using? And I think a lot of what happened was movie studios were like, oh, we're making X amount of dollars because we spent this much money on it. And a lot of times that does not translate. A lot of movies, in order for them to make back the money that they spent on them, the movie has to be good, the marketing has to be good, and people have to buy into the movie. Also, what is going on in the world that makes your movie relevant? Alex Garland's Civil War did really well, because it's an A24 movie. Alex Garland is a for cinephiles and moviegoers, is a well-known director. Also, it's about an American Civil War. I don't know if you've been paying attention, those of you out there. This is an election year. So that may feed into the narrative of what's going on that may get people out to the theater to go see this. And it was a very interesting film by people who have seen it. And it was a very big word of mouth movie. Um, Fall Guy did not have that word of mouth. It just didn't. Yeah, it had Emily Blunt and it had Ryan Gosling, but it didn't have the power of, say, a Oppenheimer or a Barbenheimer or Barbie or Barbenheimer last year. I think those things play into the movie going experience and why some of these movies have not done well.
Yeah, and Fall Guy was weird because I told you, I think I told Chat too, like I just discovered the show this year. Um,
The
Somebody
TV
told me
show?
about it. Yeah, I didn't know about it before. I just discovered it this
So
year.
you
It
never knew
happened
it
to be on.
existed?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, Wendy and I just happened to be looking at it on Amazon. She's like, "Oh, this show was great," and she was telling me about it. So we
Yeah.
watched it on Amazon. I had a lot of fun with it. So
Yeah.
when I knew the movie was kind of like, "Oh, this is cool," but for a lot of people, they don't really remember the show to
Mm,
even know that Fall Guy is is based on a TV show. It's like, oh, it's
hmm
just Fall Guy. Because if you no spoilers, but the plot of this movie doesn't really follow the same plot of the TV show at all.
and I will say this: when I first saw the trailer, I really, I really wanted to. I really was turned off by it because I really wanted it to be like the TV show. And
Right.
then I had to let that go. And honestly, it was some of the commentators. I was like, "Yo," who some people who commented in the chat who were like, "Yo, let it be its own thing." And I was like, "You know what? You're right. I got to let it be its own thing. I can't hold on to the fact of this should be exactly like the TV show that I remember as a kid." And I do want to see the movie. Um, I do believe the movie theater experience has changed in a way that it's no longer this, what's the word I'm looking for? Not Shangri-La or this,
Ultimate experience.
yeah, the ultimate experience, but also you talked about it when you said people don't know how to act.
Hmm.
And we've talked about that before. When people came out, they did not know how to act, and they still don't. So it's
Hmm.
like, you're right. Why would I go see a movie with all these people in the theater when somebody's going to take their phone out or somebody's going to be talking? Or I was reading on Threads, and people were like, when what was not necessarily your worst movie going experience, but what was some of the experiences that you had since COVID where people are being dicks? And somebody was like, "Yo, um," somebody was like, "Yo, this lady brought a baby in," and I'm like, "It's like had the stroller and everything," and I was like, "Yeah, like I'm not joking. I never thought about bringing my baby to the theater,
Hmm.
and I got two of them." Like
Sure.
a friend of mine was like, "When are you going to take Evan to the theater?" And I'm like, "When he's old enough to sit down with and comprehend, and we're going to sit in place." Like the kid can't get through Minions at home.
Right.
So why would I bring him and disrupt everybody else's movie going experience? Um, I, I just think that a lot of those things plays a part into it, and I also think the movies have to be appealing. But I also think we haven't raised a good movie going generation. Denny talks about the fact of films and going to the theater should be an experience. I talked about this with Furiosa. You weren't on board with the movie as much as I was, but that's a movie that I think a lot of people have to look at it with context of what George Miller was trying to do. He was trying to do something different than Fury Road, a harken back to more of a Road Warrior slash Mad Max, and it was more of an Odyssey.
Hmm.
The trailer, I think, betrayed what, I don't say betrayed, but misled us a little bit on what the movie was going to be. And I really enjoyed that film. Like it's one of my top films of the year.
I
Um,
think you gave it a 11 out of 5 or something.
no, I gave it a 6 out of 5.
6 out of 5. You definitely went over the
Yeah.
scale.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, definitely. Like it was it like Dune met every expectation that I expected. Dune 2,
Hmm.
and I was really impressed with Dune 2. Furiosa exceeded my expectations, and it gave me something that I didn't know I needed. And so there's a difference in that film, and also I've appreciated, and when I link it with Fury Road and I look at Furiosa's character arc throughout both of them, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm not sure everybody looks at a movie like that. I'm quite sure a lot of people were like, this movie's too long. It's boring. Where's Max?
Sure. Wanted to highlight a couple comments and then get back to this for a second. Herbert Thornton says, Michael, don't forget the strikes last year.
Oh, that's
And
a
that's
good one.
always, yeah, I did forget about that, but that is a good point. Like the strikes were about 3 months,
This is
100
one of
some
the longest
days.
strikes. No,
Yeah,
no,
it
hold
was,
on. Don't forget when you say strikes, it was a writer and actor strike.
Right, right. Two
So
two
it
two
so
guilds
so
of
it was
striking. Yeah.
two guilds struck at the same time, and it almost was a third because the directors almost struck, but
Hmm.
they didn't. So we had that going on, and so of course a lot of movies got pushed back. A lot of stuff wasn't filmed. So yeah, you that is a very good point. Thornton brings up.
Yeah. And then Baby Toshio brought up, in his opinion, people were getting too comfortable changing the release to 4 to 5 months before streaming. Yeah, I mean, I remember it used to take forever back in the day of VHS. It would take forever before a movie would be available to buy, either rent at Blockbuster or buy a VHS. It was months, and now it can be as short as 2 weeks, I think.
Well, buy so I don't buy just digital. I buy physical. Um,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
am.
that's right, because it's different, right? You can buy it digitally first, and then you can buy the physical.
Mhm.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and here's another thing too, and I don't want to say this because I don't want to say I was the only person to come up with this. Dan Murrell, friend of the show, uh, he had a whole video about like what's wrong with movie theaters and what can be done to change it. One of the things that studios are doing, and you touched on it, which is something he expounded upon, the fact that you can see a movie and get a pristine digital release within a month or two of when the movie sometimes is still in the theater. And
Mm,
that's a COVID thing because people are downloading that to put it up on torrents. So you have a literal pristine pirated copy of a film that's still in theaters.
sure.
Before, when we used to have pirated copy movies, somebody had to go in with a camcorder.
True.
But now I can go on Cody right now and go watch Fall Guy if I wanted to. I like it wouldn't cost me anything. All I would have to do is jailbreak this Fire Stick, download Cody, and it would be up there. Everything that's in the theater right now that has a digital release is up on Cody right now. And that is cutting into your movie box office. If people I'm not going to do it only because I understand that in order for the theater business to keep going and movies to keep going, I can't pirate everything.
Hmm.
But I do understand, and I'm not here to judge whether you do or don't. I'm not trying to spend your money, but I understand why people do it. But that has to be cutting into your box office profits. If while your movie is still in the theater, if I have a jailbroken Fire Stick, I can watch Fall Guy in the comfort of my own home. You talked about this. I think that does play a part of it. And I also think the movies have to be good. Madam Web, I don't know what the world they were thinking when they released that, but you could not tell me the executives were like, yeah, this is going to kill them.
I mean, I agree with that, but I also think the problem is the executives don't care as long as they just produce something so they keep the Spider-Man license or the character license.
See,
They're like, yeah, whatever.
I don't, I don't want to be that cynical.
I mean, we have,
I, I
because it's
don't,
not just Madam Web, it's Morbius. It looks like it's probably going to be Craven. Like we have examples. They keep releasing these movies that are not good.
the reason
And
why
it would be one thing if Marvel didn't exist and we were still getting movies that were made like they were in the 90s. But they have a template now of how to Hollywood loves to copy people. You trying to tell me Sony can't figure out a way to copy the template of Marvel movies after 10 plus years and at least get one decent one? Not counting Spider Verse because Spider Verse is good. Those two Spider Verse are good, but
yeah.
like these live action movies, you can't copy one and get something decent.
But
Nah,
see,
I
here's
don't.
the
I don't
thing.
think they care.
Here's why I disagree because they spent so much money on them. Like, like if it was
Well,
so,
what do you mean? You mean spent money like getting the license or making them? Because I don't think Madam Web costs a lot to make.
here's where I disagree. If they were spending $10 million on the film, I would agree. But Madam Web had to be. So let's look at. and we'll come back to the box office gross in a second. But
I
let's go to
I,
box.
I imagine it can't be that high because you haven't seen it, right?
No.
It, I don't know what it would have been spent on because there's no. You got Dakota Johnson, but she's not the biggest actor in the world, so she's not commanding the biggest salary.
Okay.
Um, Most of
So
it's shot indoors. I don't think it's a big
so
budget.
worldwide, it did $100 million. That's $43 million domestic, $56 million international. So let's look at budget. I swear I hate how this thing does now. Budget.
Herbert Thornton asked, "You guys read what Mike Flanagan said about Netflix and physical media, right?" I didn't. Did you? You know what he's
Yes,
talking about? Okay.
he's so hold on. How do I turn off AI overview?
I don't know. Your computer's infected now. Is all I know.
I'm going to get to that because so on Screen Rant, all right, let's go to Collider. So according to Collider, budgets for major films like this typically range from 50 to 100% of the film's reported budget. Budget for Madam Web is ranging from 80 to 100 million. That means the marketing budget for the Sony film could be anywhere from 40 to 100 million. So it barely broke even. That's what I'm saying. So like I can't believe that they're burning money like that on this film if they're budgeting $100 million. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what
Like,
is $100 million for Sony Pictures?
so I don't know if I've said this to you before, but I might have said it on the channel. I can't remember what. It was a text thread on Twitter back in the day, and someone asked, why do movie budgets cost so much?
Hmm.
And somebody said, it's harder to steal. It's easier to steal $1 million from $100 million movie than a $13 million movie.
Fair enough.
And
Congress
there's a
does it all the
lot
time when they
more.
pass laws with earmarking stuff. Sure.
It's
Same principle.
and basically that's what it was. Basically, it's the idea that these movie budgets are inflated because so many people have to get their cut. I'm not going to tell you that that's what's going on, but that's the perception that people have. And that's why I said, I don't want to be, because basically what you're saying is they made this movie for $100 million so that they could steal 20.
Hmm.
And I don't want to be that cynical, but I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong.
I mean, you see the product. The product doesn't disprove what people say.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. I just don't want to be that cynical
Leroy,
about
do
it.
you know that horrible line that's in the trailer isn't even in the movie
Yep.
of Madam
Mhm.
Web? Like that hurt.
Yep.
I wanted to see that in the movie. I was like, at least I wanted to give me that line. Man, rough. So rough.
It's just one of the things. It's just, so when I think of Madam Web, as much as I don't want to agree with you. I don't want to believe that Sony is sitting back there saying we need to keep the license. How much do we need to make off this movie to keep them licensed while still making the movie, getting all these partners together to make a movie for $100 million and then somehow stealing 20?
Sir, if you don't want to believe it, why are they trying to still make a Bad Bunny movie for him to be whatever wrestler he's going to be in the Spider-Man universe?
Yeah.
Tell me, comic book man, do you care about that
I-
man? Do you care about that character?
I don't know, man. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong.
Okay.
I want to believe in something greater and better, and that the theater experience is not tainted that way.
Okay.
But you're right. Um, Baby Toshiro says Sydney Sweeney basically said she did it to get paid and get her name out there.
Good for her.
Um,
I'm not mad at any of the actors in that movie. They are doing
I
something.
am. I'm mad at one,
Oh, okay.
Dakota. I'm mad.
Okay.
Only reason why I'm mad at her is because I do agree with what Chris Hemsworth said about the actors and actresses who end up in Marvel movies or in these superhero movies and then turn around and then bash them afterwards.
Did she ever
And
bash it?
oh, yes, she did.
I thought
Yes,
all
she
she
did.
said was, I wasn't really sure what
No,
I was shooting.
no,
Like
she
they put me on
bashed
a
it.
green screen and we did this. It was
No,
something
she
interesting.
bet she talked some shit about it to where people were like,
Okay.
yeah, the people were giving her a side eye.
Okay.
So I want to get back to what Herbert Thornton was saying. You were asking about the whole
You do that. I want to give a shout out to Ty Williams because he said that he saw Spy Family in theater. I also saw Spy Family in theater. Shout out for
Ty
that.
Williams. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Ty. So on Free Comic Book Day, Ty was like, "Hey man, I watch you," and I'm like,
What is? Be more specific. What does that mean?
I was like, "Hey, bro," I was like, "Are there
What you
cameras in my
mean?
house?" And
What
so
you
we
mean
chopped
you
it up like
watch
outside of
me?
Free Comic Book Day, and we talked
Yeah.
for about a good 20, 30 minutes, and it was like, and it was so invigorating. Ty, I really appreciate you talking to me because I'm gonna be honest with you, Ty. I wasn't really feeling myself that day, and I really wasn't feeling being out. Like I left the wife at home with the boys, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go and then come right back. And I like felt the comic book feel again. Like I felt good being out, doing that. I was kind of down, because normally, you remember last year, all the other years, man, we used to hit Free Comic Book Day up. We would
Yeah.
do
Shoot
interviews,
stuff. Yeah. Do stuff
and
for
we
News
haven't
19.
done
Yeah.
that in a while. We haven't done that. We still trying to get the channel up and going. So not being able to do that was a little depressing, you know, talking to people. Big Schmitty was out there, your boy. Um,
2 thumbs up. That's all I'm gonna do. Okay. Great.
um, but no, it
Wait.
just
Did he say something to you?
he came, he saw me, and then I had to leave. So
Okay.
I wanted to because he was promoting his book,
That's
and
what's
he was
up.
like, I got
Cool.
a book out, and I was like, yo, that's good, man. I was like, I've been here for a while. You ain't say nothing. Like I got to go now. So I really wanted. It was
Yeah.
one of those things was like, Negro, you saw me. I'm
Yeah.
not because I was speaking to James, but Ty, it really was good to see you. I really appreciate it. I love these interactions with people because it really felt good talking to somebody who got this nerd shit, but also he gave me a pick me up when I needed it. So I
That's
really
what's
want
up.
to highlighted that. So I really appreciated that, Ty. Herbert Thornton talks about Mike Flanagan. So Mike Flanagan basically has come out and said Netflix is standing in the way of movie and television preservation because all they do is stream stuff. They're not investing in the physical media. And he's asked for physical copies of his movies and shows to be released. So he's the guy behind the
Oh,
fall of the fall of the House of Usher.
a lot of the scary shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, I think you could probably do some of his stuff. It's not like it's right on the cusp
I've seen
of
bits and pieces. That'll
yeah.
do. I'm good. Thank
So
you. I'm
but
just
yeah,
happy that he
so
uses Carla Gugino a lot because I love Carla Gugino.
yes.
Um,
So he talked about it. He was like, look, they do physical copies for some of their other stuff. He's like Stranger Things, it's physical copies. He's like, I would like for my stuff that he's like, they basically were kind of dicks about it. And
sure.
he basically brought up the fact of that this is hurting us as an industry because what happens if Netflix goes under?
Hmm.
I'm not wishing that on him. I'm not saying, but like the idea of your favorite show just being available on a streamer and not being able to get a physical copy. Even Disney is releasing Andor, Obi-Wan, Winter Falcon,
Mando.
did I not say Mando? Or I said
No,
Andor.
you
Thank you.
said
I said
Andor. Yeah.
Mandalorian, Scarlet Witch. What am I so all of their streaming shows that they made in the last 3 years has a physical copy. Not only a physical copy, all of them have steelbook. So it is really incumbent upon Netflix to get to make sure we have a physical copy of those shows for those people who want them. I personally, speaking of physical copies, Alan Wake 2 is going to get a physical copy from Limited Run Games, and I'm probably gonna buy that.
Cool.
um,
It's like we've talked about the benefit of physical over digital before. Interesting.
yeah. So, but yeah, but I'm really glad to see Herbert Thornton brings up a very good point. I'm really glad to see the creators stepping up and saying we want physical copies of our projects. I'm
Hmm.
really glad to see that. But no, Baby sure brings up, yeah, Bad Boys on my next list for the theater. Love the franchise and Will Smith. We're gonna get to a review of that, but I made a point to go see that in theater because I love the franchise. Y'all know that is like,
Would you? Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought, then I'll ask you a question.
oh no, go ahead.
It's about Bad Boys. Would you? And you can say this for the review, or you can answer now. Is it like your favorite of the franchise? Or you want to say that for the review, or
Out of which one?
out of the four Bad Boys movies, is the newest one your favorite one, the number one?
Oh no,
Okay, that's cool.
two is my favorite.
Okay,
Two is my favorite. Three is the best.
okay.
So I'm not knocking Ride or Die. Matter of fact, there's a commercial for Ride or Die on right now. Um, Three is the best Bad
I
Boys.
mean, for me, slight spoilers for Bad Boys 3, but for me, it has the best joke in the franchise. Mike, you fucking a witch. That's the best joke of the entire franchise to me. That was great.
I mean, three is. I think three is the best because it it captured the original two
Hmm.
while bringing something new, and that's very hard to do after a huge gap. I think very few movies has able to have able to restart a franchise, reboot a franchise while still being true to the original after such a long period. And I it's not a hot take. I would say the only other movie that I think has done this as well, if not better than Bad Boys, Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick, as far as bridging that gap from what your original movie was, and then coming back and having a sequel or another movie that captures what you had, and then bring it into a new millennia.
Hmm.
Those two movies, hands down, did one of the like, because usually when you do sequels, there's it's 3 or 4 years. Hell, Bad Boys for Life is on TV right now, while Bad Boys Ride or Die is in theaters. So like you usually get like you know, they space them pretty close together because Hollywood loves IP and no known IP. I will say three is the best, but my favorite is two. Like
Okay.
two, I harassed my wife. She could probably file charges against me as many times as I've seen Bad Boys 2 and made her watch Bad Boys 2. I incepted her while she would go to sleep when she was pregnant and put on Bad Boys 2 while she was sleeping. She would go to sleep. I would turn on the TV. I'd put on Bad Boys 2 and I would leave while she was sleeping. I did that. Yep. So, um, trying to read some of these comments. Um, Janie K says, I usually do not like these legacy sequels. They feel like a soft reboot, but I did really like Top Gun Maverick. And Janie's right. Um, uh, K is like they perfect example. They're showing right now. Ghostbusters Afterlife is coming up tomorrow, and I thought it was just okay. Like I like, and that's another goes back to that original point of what's in theaters. I think Afterlife was just yeah, and so Frozen Empire when it came out this year, I was in no hurry to see it. The Apes movie, Kingdom of the Apes. The last three movies were decent, were pretty good, but I had no interest to see them. And
Have you seen Godzilla -1 yet? Now that it's on Netflix?
I'm waiting to watch that with Evan.
Okay.
Because my son is really big into Godzilla,
Okay.
and so he has like plushies. His birthday's coming up, so I got him like Birding Godzilla plushie. He's got like the Bandai Godzillas. He's got a Rodan, uh, King Ghidorah. So yeah, but I think that plays into the summer blockbuster experience as well. Um, so hold on. Baby Toshiro, thank you for bringing up Blade 2049. I think that's another good one. But again, 2049 didn't do well at the box office. Was kind of for as far as numbers and how much it cost to make was kind of a dud. But I think it's an amazing flick. I think it's a powerful movie, but that's just us. Uh, so yeah, that's how I feel about some of these theater
Do
the
you think
summer
there's a
home.
solution to summer blockbuster? Is there going to be a movie that's going to make the summer blockbuster do whatever?
So looking at what's coming out this year, so right now, Furiosa still has an opportunity to do well. I think word of mouth has to be good, but it's up against a very packed summer because we have a Despicable Four coming out. Deadpool is coming out soon in July. You've got uh, A Quiet Place prequel coming out.
Hmm.
Uh, Inside Out 2. Hold on, I got my list right here. 10 most anticipated movies of the summer 24 from Inside Out. Twisters. Right now, June 7th, Bad Boys Ride or Die, and that's going to win the weekend. It's going to win the weekend, and it may do better than expected. I don't know how many people saw it when you went. My theater
I
wasn't
was
packed.
I was one of three people.
Really, I
Yeah,
was
but I
one
I
of.
was saw it at 10 in the morning.
So did I, but I was one of
Okay.
20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Rock Hill
that's
did
what I
not
said.
care. Columbia, I guess Columbia did. Rock
Yeah,
Hill did
I
not.
was one of 20 people when I saw it. So A Quiet Place comes out June 28th. Despicable Me, July 3rd. July 19th, Twisters. July 26th, Deadpool and Wolverine. Borderlands, August the 9th. I think that is going to be a bust. That's just me. Um, I'm interested to see what M. Night Shyamalan does with Trapped on August 9th. But the movie that I most want to see this year, outside of anything else for the summer, is Alien Romulus, August the 16th.
Aaliyah asked, "What did you think of the trailer?"
Oh, it got me hype again. It
Okay.
like I felt like Godfather. Every time I try to get out there, I felt like that. And I was like, I hope it's not Covenant all over again.
Because
Hold
you
on, did
like the
they?
Covenant trailer?
I love all the trailers,
Okay.
but I still think Prometheus gets a bad rap, and I like Prometheus. Um, so did you see the Romulus trailer when you saw Ride or Die?
No. Nope.
So they didn't play it?
No.
Really?
Oh, hold on. I got to the theater later than I normally do, so I didn't see like the first set of trailers. I do know that.
So
So it's
here's the
possible
funny
it might
thing.
have been the first trailer.
Here's the funny thing about this. Regal down the street, 10:15 showing. Guess when the movie actually started playing?
10:50.
Boom, you're right.
Yeah, because I had mine was 10:15. It started playing at 10:50.
Yep.
Yep.
10:50 was when the actual beginning of the movie started playing. And I
Oh
was
yeah, it's
like,
crazy.
and so tie that into the movie going experience. Who has time?
Hmm.
Who has that time? Like, luckily, I was at like, we knocked off for the week a little early. And so there really wasn't any work for us to do production wise. So I was like, okay, I can work from home. I can run some errands and I can. So I was able to go see it. But think about that for a second. Your
Yeah, it's
movie's supposed
crazy.
to start at 10:15. Your movie doesn't start till 10:50. So you just checked on a 35 extra minutes. And the tickets are too high. Man, get the
Hmm.
fuck out of here with that
Yeah.
bullshit.
And it's not even all trailers now. Now it's like trailers and commercials between that.
Yeah.
You used to think
Like how
that,
many
oh, the commercials would happen before the start time, but no, they put commercials in there now. They combine
like
them. It's
why do I
crazy.
need M&M commercials? I'm already buying popcorn and ices. Like you already got me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very upset. Real quick, let's switch topics. We've been talking about this for about 50 minutes. So State of Play happened this week from Sony and
No, State of Play
Summer
happened
Game
last
Fest.
week.
Did it?
Yeah,
No.
because yes, because everybody made mention of the fact that it's weird that Sony couldn't like somehow move their thing later to be part of Summer Game Fest. Like it was a week before.
Well, the reason why I bring that up is Sony had their State of Play.
Uh-huh.
Game Fest happened yesterday. Devolver also happened with their little thing that they do. They're
Yeah,
weird.
I gotta watch that. I love Devolver Digital. I think they have the best
And
E3 press
then
conference.
tomorrow or Sunday
Hmm.
is Xbox's showcase.
The most important showcase of all time is what some people are saying.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not a hot take.
No, I was like, they need to do
It's
something.
it's uh, based on everything that's going on. That is not a hot take.
Yeah.
But so what basically off of what we've seen so far, what was your impressions of
So, okay, so quick disclaimer. Summer Game Fest is interesting to me because I like the fact that Jeff Keighley is still trying to keep the spirit of E3 alive, even because of something else and it's under his banner. Having said that, it is hard to keep up with all the different press conferences because in addition to Summer Game Fest, you had the Wholesome Games Direct, then you had this Devolver Digital, you had Day of the Devs, you had Latina, I think it was Latinx game press conference, then a women's game press conference, a bunch of different press conferences. So it's hard to keep up with everything. So the only things I've seen were State of Play. I saw Summer Game Fest. Haven't seen Devolver Digital Dare the Devs, which I will watch eventually. The stuff I saw is fine. I do like the fact that Jeff does a good job of trying to set expectations now because he's like, hey, this may not be the biggest announcements as we've had in the past. And it's like, I get it because you're not making the games, you're just getting the trailers. You can only go based on what people will give you. I get it.
yeah,
I think
and how
last
much
year
how much they're willing to pay because there's reports out that it costs $250,000
for 1 minute.
to. Hmm.
Yep, I saw that report between Esquire and Kotaku. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hmm.
Um, I think Jeff was definitely up against a steep hill compared to last year, because last year you had the trailer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, I know that game did not sell as much as Square wanted, but the anticipation for it last year was through the roof. So people were loving that as a way to end Summer Game Fest. This year, there were a few games I was like, okay, I think this is interesting. Cuff Bust, where the little stuffed sheep animals are in prison breaking out. That seemed kind of cute,
Hmm.
kind of fun. Lego Horizon Adventure. That seemed fun.
You know what? Also,
Uh,
I thought was funny about Lego Horizon.
what's that?
Did you notice the little thing that Jeff said about? Oh, Aloy's nice because Aloy is an a hole.
I think she's toned down in the second one.
You
I think in the
think?
first one, I compared to the first one, she's definitely like, I know every
No.
fucking thing. You guys are idiots. Which, to be
I
fair, the people are kind
that's
of idiots in that first one. But I think
I
I
think
think
it's
she's more mature in the second one.
no, I do not. I think
Okay.
she has less patience in the second one than she does in
Okay.
the first one. And maybe it's because I understand the first one more.
Hmm.
Why she's kind of like I'm not saying I'm not gonna say she's a bitch in it. I'm not going that far, but she is kind of an ass
Yeah.
in the second one versus the first one. Because in the first one, I get why she's that way. Like the
Yeah.
way she was treated, she
Hmm.
deserved to give some get back.
Right.
But
Yeah.
in this one,
Let's give
especially,
flowers to Ashley Birch for her portrayal of Aloy. First in the nice fancy ones, but also Lego Horizon. she sounds like she's having fun. It's like, oh yeah, Ashley Birch is a pretty good. She's a very good voice actress. She can do a lot of stuff, and she can have fun if the script will allow her to do it. And it sounds like she's having fun, so I'm excited
Yeah,
for it.
I think Lego Adventures. I just think it's funny that they were like the lines that they were using is like, "Oh, Aloy is fun, and she's
Hmm.
working together." She like I thought that was hilarious. I was like, that was a big dig at the original Horizon. At so that's just me.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
but beyond those three, I'm trying to think of anything else that I saw at Summer Game Fest.
Really?
Like, oh yeah. I mean, nothing really that I'm like, yeah, this is good stuff.
Wow.
There were some shooters that I was like, I don't really care about first person shooters. Um, I would have loved to have seen more like single player narrative driven games. I think some of the things were the game Neva or Neva,
Mhm.
however you pronounce it, the
Yeah,
same
never.
studio that made Grease. I'm
Mhm.
excited for that because I really enjoyed Grease. So that looks like that'll make me cry as this
So
dear
I don't
dog
like
may or
saying
may
it's
not die.
Grease. I say Grease.
Sure, whatever.
I don't know why.
Um, but whatever. I feel like that dear dog may die and may tug my heartstrings. There was another game called Deer and Boy. I was like, oh, this
Yeah,
is that deer's growing
that
up.
looked like
Oh
never
no.
did. See, I thought that was a Never Alone too.
Wait, what's Never Alone?
So go look up Never Alone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's go look that up real quick, and that's what I thought it was. You see it?
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
So
yeah. I think this might have been like, was this free on PlayStation at one time? 'Cause I feel like I
yeah,
downloaded it and never
mhm,
played it.
yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So I thought that was what it was. I thought that's what that. So it's interesting you said that because I was the exact opposite. As I was watching Summer Game Fest, I was like, "This is good." Like, you ever seen that meme where like um from Pulp Fiction? And I say this because it happens. My boys do this, especially the older one who knows better. Um, they pee in the bathtub
Mm.
and then they will drink. Then they will like swish the bath water in their mouth, and they'll be like,
Oh no.
"Oh yeah." And I'm gonna tell you right now, you probably did it as a toddler too.
Oh
Um,
no.
every parent that I talk to is like, "Yeah, my kids do that," and I'm like, "That is disgusting." But then it's the meme though of like from Pulp Fiction where they're like, "This is some good shit." Like I literally felt like that for Summer Game Fest. I was like, "This is some good shit."
Okay.
I loved the trailer for First Descendant. I am so on board with that. Um, I really loved Inner Sloth, the stuff that they showed, even though some of the people behind the games weren't emoting very well. But like the mech game, I think it was an East Asian guy who was like the own the company, whatever. He just did not do a good job of selling his game, but his game looked
Intersoft,
amazing.
that's the Among Us people.
Yes,
Okay.
and so they
Okay.
had the Outer Sloth, where basically they were like, "Here are the games coming up." There was a roguelike shooter that I thought would look really cool. Never looked really good. Um, what's the other game that really got me?
Oh,
Skate. Even though I don't even play Skate, Skate looked fun. Alan
sure.
Wake 2's the DLC for Alan Wake 2, but also the fact that there was a physical release for it came out during that, and
Hmm.
Mecha Break. So like there was a lot of stuff that I thought was really like I'm trying to think of what else. So there's the No More Room in Hell 2.
You're like, no, thank you.
I'm gonna
I
be
don't need
honest
no
with you.
permadeath
I,
roguelike, none of that.
I'm not a permadeath guy and I'm not a co-op person. But for some reason, that game did count. Like there was a lot of stuff that I was like, okay, I'm interested. And so there was a lot of indie stuff mixed in with big budget stuff. My son was glued to the TV when Monster Hunters came on.
Oh,
When they
Monster
were
Hunter Wild or
riding,
whatever.
yeah, when they were like riding the fake chocobos
Okay.
and like the sandworms were coming out and he had the giant sword and stuff and he like my son was on board. And so there was a lot of stuff that I was like, okay, like there was like it was a mixture of like big budget stuff. And the funniest thing is like I didn't care about the Arkham. Shadow thing. I don't
Yeah,
play
that
Street
story
Fighter.
trailer didn't really get me any. Ooh, you know what? I did like the Street Fighter announcement.
Now, here's the thing: I don't even play Street Fighter, but the fact that they were getting Fatal Fury
Hmm.
and Terry showed up, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I see you. But it was like there was in Dune Awakening, that story trailer, not gonna lie, not gonna lie, I bought in. I was
Okay.
like, okay, this is this is the version where Paul Muad'Dib doesn't exist and House Atreides still stands, and I was like, okay, okay. Um, I am really interested to see how this goes. Some of these games go, and I'm interested to see what the showcase comes from tomorrow because I think Microsoft knows they have to they have to bring it, but also I think a lot of studios were not going to spend that money on the showcase, the Summer Games Fest,
Hmm.
because they just like every month we get 100 to 1,000 people laid off from these video game companies.
Yeah.
So I do think that they are cutting back from spending $250,000 for a trailer at Summer Games Fest when they're trying to retool.
Yeah.
And Sony has said what they're releasing. So we're not going to get a Last of Us or whatever. We're not going to get these huge games from first party Sony studios. Microsoft has their own thing going on. Ubisoft does their own thing. So I think,
That is the Monday next week.
yes.
Yeah.
So I do think Summer Games Fest, as far as like what we saw, is a little more tempered because everybody's realizing we can do our own thing. I will say that I was disappointed in Capcom and Konami as far as your big publishers not showing more stuff. Um, I do
What
wonder
you want
if
from
we're gonna,
Capcom?
huh?
What you want from Capcom? They gave you two franchises.
I want more.
What you?
They, so. But here's the thing, and the reason why I said it, I wonder if tomorrow they're going to drop a new Resident Evil game.
You mean a trailer
Yep.
at Xbox?
Hmm.
I don't think so.
Here's the reason why I'm interested to see if that happens. Only because there is a rumor that they are releasing a new that the new Resident Evil game is coming.
Hmm.
Um, it if Microsoft can pull it off, if I had the money, that's when I would do it. I would, if I was Microsoft, I'd back a truck up and be like, "Hey, drop that on our day."
To
But I
say
do.
what, that it's exclusive to Xbox, or just that
I mean, if you got the
it is
money,
associated with Xbox?
if you got the money, do it because that would
I
be
don't think
huge.
studios are doing
Uh,
exclusivity anymore.
I do think they will if you give them enough money.
I think Square Enix tried that with Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and they said, "Oh, this didn't work."
I think part of the problem with that is I think part of the problem with Square Enix is that they spent what $500 million on two games for one console. And even though PlayStation 5 may be they made the most money on that console, I don't think they have the same player base.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
So I like that's just bad business. So yeah, would you agree that that those two games probably cost $500 million?
I would need to see that written somewhere.
I guess what I'm saying is, in order to make a game, those two games made at that size, when you look at how much money was spent on Spider-Man, how much money was spent on some of these AAA titles, I'm not, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, you can't tell me Final Fantasy Rebirth is not a 200 million. They didn't spend $200 million to make that. That game looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, that game is a visual marvel. So I I could see them spending that much money on those two games. Um, I am interested to see what comes out of Microsoft's little deal tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to watch it live, but I will be paying attention, and they better bring it because
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think, and I'm the biggest Marvel defender, not Marvel, Microsoft defender, and Uncle Phil. I think the past couple of press conferences from Microsoft, like when they do a showcase like this, have been pretty good. I think
Uh-huh.
the issue is they overpromise and don't deliver. So for me, I think tomorrow's showcase is going to be good, and I'm just wondering when are you going to come through on these promises like 4 or 5 months down the road? When are we going to see these games? Because they have, I think that there was a report they now have like 30 game studios under Microsoft. It's like where the
Yeah.
games at? You got 30 studios, we ain't got no games.
Well, hell, even with them shutting down the studios they have, they still have more studios than anybody else. And here's the
Yeah.
thing. I'm going to tell you, and I don't believe this is a hot take. I've said this before and I'll say this again. Microsoft is not a video game company.
Right.
They're a company that has a division that makes video games, consoles, and software. And I don't think that they are in the business of managing and making video games well. I think they I think they do a good job with some things, but I think when it comes to, because here's the thing, and I'm not saying that Microsoft slash Xbox is so bad that they can't get better. I think with the amount of money that they have, they should be doing a better job. I just think that they don't have the right people in place leading them to make the right decisions. Um, but I don't think Sony is freaking rocket scientists compared to
Hmm.
Microsoft. Because here's the thing, I still believe and I still think it's coming. I am shocked that they are not about to announce a tiered plan for Game Pass with Call of Duty coming. I still was one of those people who was like $20, 24.99 a month when Call of Duty drops. I'm still shocked that they're not doing that. And I still believe it's coming with everybody
Tomorrow
raising
we can
prices.
find out. Yeah.
But that's just me. Um, because here's the thing, I think eventually they're going to have to raise that once all of these studios start making these games. If you've got 30 studios and all of these games come out, you gotta raise the price. You can't keep it at what is it, 16.99 a month?
Depending on, well, see, there already are kind of tiers. It depends on what level. Like if you want
Yeah,
core
you've
versus
got the
ultimate.
ultimate with PC and
Ultimate, I
extra.
think I pay 19.99 a month. Or
Yeah.
actually, I get like discounts on cards from Aniba or whatever. But yeah.
Mhm. So I do believe eventually they're going to have to raise that price. Is it tomorrow? I don't know. But I do I don't think it's um hyperbole that this may be one of Microsoft's big. This has to be Microsoft's biggest showcase. I do believe that they're going to have to bring it, and I don't say that lightly, and I don't wish like, oh, they're terrible. They have like I do believe, especially after closing these studios
Hmm.
and as much money as they've invested in Activision Blizzard, I believe they have to basically. I This is what I think. I think Microsoft is looking at them as either clean it up or we'll clean it up for you. That's what I look at this as.
Interesting. Um, I think I think it's going to be interesting. I can wrap it up with that. I think it's going to be interesting. I want to know what we have 4 or 5 months down the line, and I want to know these rumors. Is Halo coming to PlayStation? Is Xbox going to release a handheld? That's is that stuff going to be answered tomorrow? I don't know.
So here's the thing. I think if they release a handheld, that that would be a game changer. I really think they could do that, and I think that would help them in the market. I think that would scare Sony because if you think about a Windows, because here's the thing, the Steam, here it is, Steam Deck running off of Linux, it's nice. Like I still play I still use it. I love this thing. But if Microsoft made a handheld, I'd buy it. I would. You make Microsoft make a handheld. I'd put Game Pass on and I'll play everything you got.
Hmm.
I would buy a Microsoft handheld, a Microsoft Xbox before I buy an Xbox Series X.
Interesting. Oh,
I
one
would.
other game I forgot from Summer Game Fest, and I forgot it because they didn't show any gameplay, but I know I want it. Civilization 7. I'm excited for that. I love the Civ games.
See, I thought the trailer was amazing. Don't care about it because that's
Yeah.
just not me. That's just
Yeah.
not my game, and I'm not knocking it. But the trailer did look amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do.
Cool.
But Herbert Thornton, guys, what about Maxine to follow up to Pearl? I think this whole Pearl universe that they got with Maxine and Sydney Sweeney, I think that's a game changer. I think you're going. I think this is. I think that's going to be Sydney
Sydney Sweeney's in those
Sweeney.
movies?
Yeah, she's in this one.
Oh, okay.
So the X, what is it? X, Pearl, and then Maxine. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. Yeah, check my mouse real quick. X. Yeah, X, then Pearl, and then Maxine. So yeah, it's the final movie in the Mia Goth trilogy. So I'm definitely interested in that, but we'll have to see. But I
Cool.
think this is Sydney Sweeney's not another make or break movie, but I think this could be the one that puts her on the map.
I mean, I think she's on the map.
She's a pretty blonde girl fighting in a market that has a lot of pretty blonde women.
Yeah, but I feel like she's on the map.
Correction. This will put her on the map as far as acting.
Okay.
And like carrying a film. Because in other films, she's either been the love interest or like in Euphoria, she's this television show, she's not the main character. Madam Web, she was an afterthought. But Maxine, I think, is the movie where can you carry a film? It's not just looks now. Can you carry this movie? And can you
Who is she in Maxine?
She's Maxine. She's the main character.
Wait, Sydney Sweeney or Mia Goth?
You know what? I just confused my white women.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't think she's in Maxine.
Oh man,
Mia Goth is the girl you're talking about.
You're right.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think she's in those movies.
Why is she on my brain then?
Because clearly Sydney Sweeney's awesome.
You know what? That's how we'll end it, man.
Yeah. There we go.
Yep.
What got you through the week?
Hey man, Celtics.
So there we go.
And I'm playing Fallout 4.
Okay. Because you picked it up after the show again, right?
Oh, it was always in my I played it the first time.
Okay.
And then when the show came back, I restarted it.
Got it.
I forgot how much I love this game.
Nice.
Well, Star Wars and Bad Boys.
What about you? Are you watching Acolyte?
Yeah.
I watched the first episode of Acolyte. I don't know if I'm on board yet. I'm not like, oh my goodness, it didn't hit me like Andor did. Granted, it's not made by the same people who make Andor, but we'll see about Acolyte. I don't know. That still keeping up with. I think I'm back to being a full-time wrestling guy now.
Oh, you've been back, sir.
Yeah, but I mean, it was with Cody Rhodes' storyline and the Rock storyline, and now that that's over, I'm still invested in it. I think watching all these documentaries and seeing behind the scenes stuff really makes me appreciate it more. So when I watch it now, I have a better understanding of what's happening match and in ring psychology and stuff. And I'm loving NXT. Shout out to Trick Williams because he's from Columbia, South Carolina, so that's awesome. The current NXT champion is a Columbia, South Carolina guy. That's fun. What is on Peacock? The second season of We Are Lady Parts is now available. That is a great show. I'm trying to think of the director of it, but it's the same woman who directed and wrote Polite Society, the movie we talked about a while ago.
I did like my Polite Society.
Yeah. I can't think of who directed it, but great show of four uh, Muslim women who were in a punk rock band. It's very good stuff. It's a comedy. I think that's it, really.
Man, I feel bad that I just confused my white women like that. I
Because
gotta do better.
you kept saying it, it's I, like I
I
haven't
just
seen the
kept
movies,
for
so
some
maybe she's
reason.
in it, but I was like, I don't
You
think
know,
so.
she's not. It's just when I saw Mia Goth in that trailer, I was like, that. I just for some reason I just had Sydney Sweeney on the brain.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
Um, all right,
Yeah.
folks. With that, Leroy will think about what he said. We
No, man,
may
I'm
or
gonna go
may
back
not be
watch.
back.
I'm gonna go back and watch this Bad Boys movie while I go play Fallout 4.
Cool. We may or not be back. No, we definitely won't be back live next week, right?
We'll have something. We'll have something, but it won't be. It probably won't be live. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
don't you got
We'll see.
stuff we don't you ain't you doing stuff next weekend?
We'll see, man.
Okay, fair enough. All right, folks, that's it for us. Thank you for being with us here for an hour and some change. We'll be back till next time. Later.
I'll be better.
I'll do better. There we go.